In this lesson, we're going to graph a special type of piecewise function called a step function. And when we look at this, you're going to see why it is called a step function. So here is an example. It says graph this function f of x, and notice that it says it's going to be 1 if 0 is less than or equal to x is less than 1. Well, let's take a look at these equations 1, 2, 3, and 4. What those really are, right, is that's going to be 1. That's the equation y is equal to 1, right? So what it's saying is graph the function y equal to 1 if the x value is between 0 and 1, but actually not equaling the 1. Then we look at the next thing, and it says y equal 2. So this function is going to be equal to y equal to 2 if it's between x is equal to 1 and 2. Remember what these lines y equal 1, y equal 2 are. Those are just going to be horizontal lines. So if they're horizontal, they're going to look like steps. And so as you can see, as we go on down this function, what it's going to be is y equal to 2, y equal to 3, and y equal to 4. And they're going to be a series of steps. But those steps, like say for this first one, y equals 1, it's only going to exist when the x values are between 0 and 1. And because this doesn't have an equal to sign on this side, it's going to be an open dot. When it hits 1, then it's going to jump down to the next step, y equal to 2. And it's going to be equal to 2 between 1 and 2. But once again, on the 2, this would be an open dot. But on the 1, we see an equal to sign, so that would be closed dot. And we're done graphing that. It's going to look like this stair step here. Right? You can see that this is y equal to 1, y equal to 2, y equal to 3, y equal to 4, and you can see they're just little bitty lines corresponding to the x values that are allowed. So let's go ahead and graph one of these. So here's a function, and it's a stepwise, it's a step function. So let's go ahead and take a look at the first step. What this says is we're going to have a step here at y equal to 3. But we're only going to have that step, y equal to 3, when the value of x is less than a negative 4. So over here, then we can go to this x value, which is less than negative 4. And because it says less than a negative 4, this is going to be an open dot. And what we're going to have is that when x is a negative 4, y will be 3. And y will be 3 for all values of x that are less than 4. So that'll be a horizontal line there at the y equal to 3. Let's look at the next step. The next step says we're going to have the line y equal to 0. But it's only going to exist for values of x that are greater than or equal to a negative 4 to where x is less than or equal to 0. So y is equal to 0 all along this line, but it's only going to exist for the values of x that where x is equal to a negative 4. And we can see, so that's going to be a closed dot here. And we can see it'll be a closed dot here also when x gets to 0. So x is going from 4 all the way up to 0, and the y value would be 0. Let's look at the next line. We have y equal to a negative 3, and it's going to be between the values of x equal to 0 and x equal to 4 with an open dot here and a closed dot here. So y is a negative 3, starts down here. And we can see that it's going to be at a negative 3 until x becomes equal to 4. The last line I have is y is equal to a negative 5. And those are going to be for the values of x when x is greater than 4. And it'll be an open dot because there's no equal to sign. So at y equal to a negative 5, and x is a negative 4 with the x is a 4 with a closed dot, open dot, would be that line, and there's my step function.